let's talk about the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, we're pretty partial to the Panthers, a team that we go see some games of. Obviously, being the home state of South Carolina, big team, really great players on this team, and they got a little bit better over this free agency offseason period through trade, through pickups. Added Baker Mayfield, added another new addition that we're going to talk about in a little bit. And those guys are kind of making a little bit of buzz. And I'll let you get into the story that you have about that momentarily. But before we get into that, Panthers fans, the franchise has been around for a little while now. You've had a couple of really great players, whether it be, obviously Luke Kuechly, Christian McCaffrey, Thomas Davis. There's tons and tons of really nice Panthers player. Greg Olsen, obviously, shame me to miss that one off the beginning. But who has been your favorite player to watch growing up looking at the Panthers? So just let us know in the comments below. Who was your favorite Panther to watch growing up? But Nick, what do you got on the Panthers?
Yeah, so before I go into the story, I think a lot of Panthers fans may say Steve Smith, but how about Muhsin Muhammad? I remember this is a guy who had an 80-yard touchdown in a Super Bowl against the Patriots. If Tom Brady doesn't bring the Patriots back, that may be one of the biggest plays in Super Bowl history. So I think Muhammad's kind of underrated. Now, speaking of wide receivers, the Carolina Panthers made a move for another wide receiver. Reported by ESPN.com, the Carolina Panthers last Monday acquired another playmaker for quarterback Baker Mayfield, trading with Jacksonville for wide receiver Leviska Shenault Jr., the team's announced. The Panthers gave the Jaguars a 2023 7th-round pick and a 2024 6th-round pick for Shenault, a league source told ESPN. Shenault carries a $1.3-ish million cap hit in 2022 and a $1.7 million cap hit in 2023. The Panthers appear set with their top 4 receivers, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrence Marshall, and now adding Shenault into the picture. All right, Maya, so obviously this is not a huge move in terms of the bigger moves. Some of the big moves the Panthers have made this offseason, obviously Baker Mayfield being the biggest. What are your thoughts on this trade, though, just adding Shenault late into the game from the Jaguars?
I really like it because Shenault is notable. Obviously, last year is a second-round pick. So he was or 2 years ago, rather, 2020, he was a second-round pick. And that means he had some notoriety coming out of college. There is some big playability in him. He's a bigger receiver at 6'2", 220. He's definitely stout. I could see him being used in a multitude of different ways. Definitely like a gadget sort of guy. Especially last year, he took a couple snaps and from the running back position, probably had like 11 carries. So you could use them in that way, Deebo Samuel-esque. But the main thing is, whether they choose to use Shenault that way or not, compile as many weapons around Baker Mayfield as possible. You got him here because obviously, as Matt Rule, you want to win now. You want to show people that this is a good team. Your system works. This is obviously a guy that Matt Rule thinks fits his system relatively. And you want to give your new quarterback, who you've declared the starter, in Baker Mayfield, as many weapons as possible. Don't limit him. Kind of similar to Justin Fields of the Chicago Bears. He was kind of limited before, but now they're giving him everything to work with, and I think this is a really great pickup for the Panthers. There's really no losing on this pickup.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's a nice quality addition adding to that wide receiver room. And speaking of not losing on something, Baker Mayfield is obviously motivated to not lose going into week 1. He's playing the Cleveland Browns, and he had some interesting comments. So this is according to Cynthia Freeland. I think that's how I'm pronouncing her name. She was talking with Baker Mayfield late in the preseason. According to Freeland, Carolina's new quarterback recently issued an unofficial warning to his old squad saying, quote, "I'm going to F them up going into week 1." Now, Mayfield is not adverse for controversial comments and aggressive comments. This is what he's done in the past. But when I look at what Mayfield said here, what Mayfield brings to the table, and when I think of the addition of Shenault, and I look at the Panthers' offense in general, I think I see a general theme coming along. So what Baker Mayfield is best at is when he's the underdog. He's the walk-on, he's the transfer. He comes into Oklahoma, kind of comes out of nowhere, wins a starting job, wins the Heisman. I think when he was getting interviewed or when he was draft day, he was wearing the hoodie that said walk-on or something to that effect. That's just, he kind of has to have that slight in that head, that demeanor, that grudge to hold. And he galvanizes his teammates that feel the same way. It worked in Cleveland his rookie year because he was able to galvanize a team coming off a disastrous season to have some success. But when the Browns became like a favorite, it all kind of fell apart. right? Because that's not who Baker Mayfield is. He has to kind of be the underdog. And when I look at the wide receiver group for the Carolina Panthers, now that they added Shenault, you look at, first of all, DJ Moore, a really nice player that is criminally underrated. No one talks about this guy. All he does is put up good numbers with bad quarterbacks and bad offenses. You got Robbie Anderson, a really talented guy, a guy who's had a lot of success in his career. He's been in the league a long time with the Jets, now with the Panthers. People kind of just throw him off the bus. It's Robbie Anderson. Who cares? No one really talks about him that much. You throw in another young guy that I really like, Terrence Marshall from LSU. He's lived in the shadow, being from LSU, of Jamar Chase, of Justin Jefferson. No one talks about him, but he's a talented guy too. And now you bring in Shenault, right? Shenault was part of that draft class. You brought it up. CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson before him, Chase Claypool after him, even earlier before him in the second round. Guys like Michael Pittman were picked, who are bigger names and talked about more. So my whole theme here is that everyone in that receiver room is kind of right now like being underrated and not appreciated for maybe what they should be doing. And Baker Mayfield is the perfect kind of guy, because that's just his mentality, to kind of galvanize that room and bring that energy together, because he's willing to go out and say things like this and have this mentality. So a lot of these sort of maybe underrated players, I think they're going to follow that. And if I'm a Panthers fan, that kind of excites me, because just having that energy and that drive to get the best out of his players, which is what Baker Mayfield did his rookie year, is the exact opposite of a guy what Sam Darnold was doing, with the Panthers. So if I'm a Panthers fan, I'm really excited what Baker Mayfield is doing, because just from an attitude perspective, obviously on the football field, he's going to be better than Darnold, but just from an attitude perspective, it's going to be a lot better.
All right, Nick, it's time to get your internet privacy back today on every device you own in any country you want. Don't let anyone but you control your internet. NordVPN keeps you safe from prying eyes wherever you go online with their military-grade encryption. Is your favorite Netflix or streaming content blocked in the US? You can simply connect to one of the many countries available with NordVPN and get the access you need.
That's right, Maya. So right now, get our exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/SMI. It's risk-free now with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get that exclusive deal, nordvpn.com/SMI.